everybody, what's up? Circus here, coming at you with another Battle Phase tournament report. We're going to be watching these things pretty closely this week because there's a new meta, there's a new ban list, there's a new box, there's a new Rye sitting next to me. How you doing, buddy?
What's good, boys? Yes, we're every tournament we have this week, we're gonna have one of these reports up, and we're gonna be talking about the meta as it develops.
All right, so going into it again, we're wondering how our Crystron's going to do, how our Teller Knight's going to do. Are Bujin's even a thing? I don't know. What do we see today?
Sort of. So we did see some better plays coming out of Teller Knights, which is nice. We've got some more. I suppose you can call them high skill level players playing it today. So that was pretty cool. Grucius, who has won MCS, I think back to back or close to back or something like that. Incredibly good player is my point. Was playing them, got to top 8, not bad. So getting there a little bit slower, kind of to mirror Karakuri. First day they did nothing. Second day they got like top 16, top 8, and then third day they won battle phase. So we'll see if if it continues, right? If the trend continues there.
We're watching Grucius right now taking on Hawks in the top 16. So we're watching
that was
Teller Knights versus Ritual Beasts.
Yeah, one of the best Ritual Beast players versus Grucius. That was actually a really good match. Went to 3 games, I believe. So if you guys, if you're a subscriber, go watch that VOD because that was a really cool match. But yeah, overall, still kind of, the deck still same weaknesses. It's the same build. The only kind of cool play is he ended up using the counter trap on his own monster that was Fiendish Chained because it gets to float and stuff, which was cool. But yeah, to be honest, the more and more I watch, I'm not being sold on Teller Knights. I'm not being sold on Bujins. What I am being sold on is Crystron's.
Is it all about just that extra deck slot?
That's really all it comes down to. I mean,
they just have more room to synchro, because I'm thinking they're not going into XYZs, right?
They're not going to XYZs, no. They're straight up synchroing. Okay. It's also Witchcrafters have been really performing very, very poorly so far. And that they were pretty good into them just negating their effects. Things like Purgatrio as well not being as relevant. So Crystron, a lot of their good matchups got nerfed, I feel like. And according to my graphics and my statistics here, 4 Crystrons entered the top 32. And by top 4, there was 3 Crystrons remaining in the tournament.
Oh my god! And we were getting excited the other day because the tournament only it took like 5 or 6 hours, but now Crystrons are back.
I mean, we'll see. Obviously, Crystrons lose very heavily to System Down. I saw someone get System Down today. I'm assuming because they're deciding for Karakuri, which has also been heavily disappointing as well. Even with Restart being unbanned, it's still not really being all that relevant, to be completely honest. And a lot of people, they told me Witchcrafter, Karakuri, and Invoke Neos would still be in the meta. And so far, at least in battle phase, unless these top players are keeping the list secret or something, they have not been performing. Which, and in that scenario, if you need to be like a top level player to make decks work, then we're just in a Crystron situation, right? Where it's like, yeah, it's a good deck, but only if you're a good player.
Right.
Then is it really that powerful of a deck, or are you just a good player?
Oh no, here we go again. The big debate. Oh god.
So we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how that works out. But I'm convinced by Crystron's power. I mean, we even before Zexal, Crystron was a good deck under certain players' hands. But now it just feels like, even stronger. If I'm not mistaken, Daniel YGO, didn't he win?
He won today and yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, so he's farming battle phase off of just Crystron.
Right.
He went undefeated today and won the Crystron mirror.
And this is something we talk about on the power rankings a lot. And actually, the power rankings were invented because we kept hearing that Crystrons were tier 1, but they weren't winning. So I pretty much wanted to prove it statistically that they weren't. And that's how the power rankings were born.
Right.
But now recently on the power rankings, we've been talking about Crystrons are doing better now than they were when they were a tier 1 deck for like 2 months.
Yeah. And, there is a lot of, community perception. This is a whole topic we can get into. But, if a group of the supposed top players, allegedly, come together and say this is the best, what ends up happening is everyone not only plays that deck, thus hurting their, topping and percentages and everything, but on top of that, everyone's going to start side decking for it. That's just how it works, right? So that will ultimately also affect how it is too. So there is that to factor in, but at the same time, yes, you can't just cherry pick tournaments or ignore community tournaments or do whatever when analyzing and saying this deck's meta, this deck's meta, this deck's meta. Because at the end of the day, not being able to adapt is part of a deck's strengths, right? Like a
Right.
reason Shiranui has been so resilient in the meta is because whenever decks adapt to counter them, Shiranui, half the deck is traps. They just adapt their back row
Right.
to
Yeah. What do you
deal with
got?
the
What do you
counter.
need?
And that adaptability is
Yep.
what made them so consistent, resilient, and meta defining.
Right.
Where obviously system down is extremely annoying, and not many decks have to deal with something like that. But at the end of the day, it's here, and if you can't deal with it,
Yeah, I mean, is there anything they could even side in to deal with that? I
Lancea.
mean, like
That's
a
it.
negate.
Literally just Lancea.
That's it, huh?
That's really all you can do. Your opponent does system down, you
Uh,
activate Lancea, and that's really all you can do. I mean, other than that, you're kind of
Hope and
screwed.
pray is not good, man. Hope and pray is
Yeah,
not
and I
good.
will say Crystalline Impact does have the advantage over, or sorry, Crystallines, because of Crystalline Impact, have the advantage over Karakuri because of system down. Because obviously, if the person's system down's too early or has not a good optimal system down, one impact can just bring all the resources back essentially off of just one monster.
And you'd almost
Um,
feel like that'd be a card that would come up for a ban list kind of thing, but it's so under the radar, and Konami's
yeah,
just not into the competitive scene that
not
neither of these
enough. Yeah.
decks are really clapping on the ladder. No one really plays that card on the ladder, so
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to get this card. Just like all cards, Poisonous Wind, System Down, Last Day of the Witch, all those cards, it's just going to be extremely difficult to get them banned.
it's such a
But System
toxic
Down,
card. It is
System
such a
Down's like the worst one
yeah,
out of all of them because it banishes from your graveyard as well, which is
right.
just ridiculous, just ridiculous. But yeah, Crystron's doing very, very well this tournament. We had some other decks kind of top. I don't believe, and let me double check here. I don't believe Bujin's actually topped. Nope, they did not top today. So I guess
That's one I'm glad
Bujin's.
I'm saving my gems on, because a lot of people are like, you got to get Boujins, they're gonna be awesome,
Yeah.
and I don't have a lot of the original Boujins, and it's like the
Mhm.
half price gem sale and all this stuff,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
I'd still wait.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
still waiting.
Correction, there was one Bujin. He just didn't do that amazing. So
Okay.
there you go.
All
At the
right.
end of the day, though, compared to two stellar, I think it was two Teller Knights. Yeah, two Teller Knights topped, and Grucius got really far with it. I think as we continue to play, it just comes down to, yes, Teller Knights is a good pack. It's actually funny to say it feels like all the other Xyz decks, because I was playing Noble Knights on the ladder earlier today, which Noble Knights are actually a Xyz deck. So even though I don't have my specific archetype cards, I can actually make every Xyz, every rank 4 XC in the game currently. So
Mhm.
I'm playing like a mini version of Teller Knights. I just don't have a counter trap. And it's just like, yeah, even though I can Xyz,
Why
I
would
don't
you?
really want to, because there's nothing that's just like, whoa, it's like the best thing I can make is Utopia. There was a cool play where it's like, I make Utopia, I swung into Sphere Karibo, then he tribute summoned Jinzo, tried to swing into me, and then I just stopped the attack and killed the Jinzo next turn.
Right.
But
But
that's so specific, like
is that
that's
really that awesome?
yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. I mean, like you said, it's very specific. Like right now, we're
Yeah,
watching Daniel Yu-Gi-Oh playing against Grucius, and obviously Daniel's playing Chris Rounds, and
it's just
he's synchroing all over him right now,
yeah,
and
and it's
each
not
one
like
has
the
a
Teller
great
Knights
effect. And
are. It's not like the Teller Knights even making anything that other decks can't make right now. I wouldn't be surprised if other
yeah,
decks could actually make the Teller Knight monster faster than it could. So we'll see. I don't think right now there's anything that deck can do, but the potential is really good with it. We just need one really good Xyz monster, and that deck will probably pop off relatively well,
right,
I would
right.
imagine.
Yeah, there's just nothing
Um,
in the XZ's art playbook right now that you really want to go into, which we kind of predicted, which we kind of thought.
yeah,
Like when Synchros came out, they weren't that great either. Obviously, they're not going to give us the sauce right away with the
I
XZ's,
will
but
say it is significantly better than the synchros that we had.
what? You didn't like
So
Gigantic Castle?
yeah, Gigantic Castle. Was that all we were summoning?
I can't remember. There wasn't a lot. There wasn't a
There was
lot, but
Stardust that you couldn't use against anything.
yeah,
Red Dragon Archfiend came later. Yeah, it was really just Gigantic Castle was
stuff
the
like
only like
that. Yeah,
relevant one.
but
Yeah,
I mean,
so
these do have some effect, but like like the level 3s, like what is it, the dinosaur one, you can, if you destroy a
Yeah.
monster, it has to go to the graveyard, which I learned because I took out someone's Canadia. I thought I was going for a game here because I was going to hit it their Canadia and then do the burn damage thing. It's like, oh, Canadia, when it's been resummoned from the grave, goes to the banish pile, so I wasn't able to burn him for 500.
Oh
And
no. You hate to
so,
see it.
yeah, so
Oh
like their
man.
effects are okay, you know what I mean, they're
Yeah,
just not there
it's
yet.
just one of those things where a lot of these cards are early XCs monsters.
Yeah,
Um, and for example, Invoked came out after the initial release of XCs. So all
right.
the easy XCs, the ones that will have the same power, whenever we talk about them in the future, it'll be like, that was the Shien of the Synchro
Right.
era, that was the Alistair of the Fusion era. What
Right.
is that monster that Konami is going to release for the XCs era? That is what we're kind of waiting on and seeing.
So we're waiting for the Alistair version of a synchro monster in the XZ's era, is what you're saying, because Alistair came out
Exactly.
during the synchro era. So
I guess so.
yeah, we're
I don't
still waiting
know.
for the best synchros to come out during the XZ's era.
No, the Vendra Charge is coming out now. It's Ritual's time to shine.
Oh, okay. Okay. We'll see about that.
But yeah, Crystron's looking really strong. A lot of top players are playing Crystron's right now as well, and I think it's probably going to climb up. Of course, as soon as it does, System Down is going to come in, so I'll have to see how people interact with that. At least in battle phase tournaments, because people are probably looking at the tournament reports and being like, "Oh, two Crystrons, one back to back, same guy. Ooh, let me side triple System Down real fast
Yeah,
and
that'll
see how
change
that works
things real quick.
out."
So I mean, the meta is
So
just
we'll see.
still in flux. I would say
Oh
right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
don't go into the new box if you haven't already, because as we're seeing on the screen, Crystron's beat Tellarknights on turn 2.
Yeah.
Who would have thought Crystron's
Yeah.
could do a turn 2 win like that? I mean, he did 2 synchros and just took him out for a game. Went into Coral Dragon
I
Amatrix and
think
was over. So
I think right now definitely let's take advantage of those 50% sales on gems.
get your
And
staples.
when we see more XCs come out, because I have a feeling this next mini box is gonna be a
It's
big
gonna
one.
be
I feel
lit.
like
You think so?
I feel like it, because the Thunder Dragon being unnerved makes me feel 11 year might be coming soon,
Hmm.
potentially. If not, something else from the selection box is going to be coming. And if it's a if it's a mini, if it's even halfway good, just the fact that it's a mini could have crazy implications for
Hmm.
the future. So I would continue saving. But at this point, if you are kind of getting like antsy to spend, I definitely say hit the 50% gem sale, kind of ignore the new box unless you're going for Fiendish Chain. Then you're fine because you do still need Fiendish Chain to be competitive.
Right.
But if you need any other staple, go get that first because it's way more efficient right now. And let's continue watching the meta because, again, there could be top players. MCS is this weekend. They could be hiding their deck lists. It happens every so often. Um, but the fact that we're having some of these top players practice within our tournaments, for example, Grucius, and we're not really seeing anything, makes me feel maybe that's not the situation here.
I think they're just trying to figure out if the deck is worth it. And the footage that's going
Yeah.
on the screen right now, Daniel Yu-Gi-Oh is just manhandling Grucius right now with Crystron's. It's not
Yeah.
even close. I mean, maybe they
Yeah,
do go to a game 3, but I mean, he's making it look really easy right now.
Crystron's best deck. Let's go.
All right, so let's get off of that a little bit. But skills, do we see anything different with skills today, or is it just kind of the bans are in place and
Um, Not really. I think with skills, people are kind of just researching what skills are good, especially players that played shadow games, which were all that. There's people are still kind of figuring out what's good. We saw like Ritual Beast, See You Later, and stuff like that. But other than that, just the normal. Chris Rons are playing the
Mhm.
Mythic Depths. People are playing, Gokis are playing Balance. Balance is listen, those Necro Valley decks, it's getting kind of crazy out here as more
Right.
and more decks are graveyard reliant.
Mhm.
Um, Floodgate seems to be kind of coming back into the meta a little bit.
Oh, it's all over the place, yeah.
I predicted that Canadia would be the go-to because of XCs, but until we actually get a good XCs for that to go into, that's not going to be,
I mean,
the
really,
better
either
one.
of them, though, at this point. You got to have 3 of each. If you don't, get them now.
Yeah, you should have both by now, for sure, for sure.
And if you don't, make sure to get them. So skills weren't really a factor today.
Nah, nothing too
New
crazy.
decks weren't really a factor today. XZs weren't really a factor today. I'm guessing Neos wasn't a factor today. Elements 8. What's
No
left?
Neos.
What's left?
There is. I do consistently see Royd invoked, topping, and doing well,
Mm-hmm.
which is very depressing. So let's not do that anymore,
That
please.
they're not. People aren't giving up that Alistair.
Yeah, and listen, I know Alistair's not going to be gone for long. He's too good of a card
Mm-hmm.
to be gone. But let's not. I don't think it's going to be anything old. Maybe Neos Invoked will have some sort of comeback, but it'll look drastically different from what it looks like now. The Neo the Invoked of old is gone. We have to figure out the new Invoked. Let's work towards that. Let's stop bringing. Don't bring
Maybe
in
the next
berries. Don't
mini's
bring
got.
in roids. Yeah,
That's our
they're
prediction. I'll make the prediction now. I could be completely wrong, but I'm going to make the prediction. Next mini box, invoke new invoke deck. All right, that the next mini box is going to have the next invoke deck in it.
all right.
And
We'll
if
keep an
I'm
eye on
wrong,
it.
everybody can just laugh. But if I'm right, people say circus profit. You know what I mean?
Circus profit.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Ritual Beast Invoke coming to a deck near you.
Yeah. Oh god, don't even say that. That would. Oh,
But
that just make them really happy. We're
yeah.
relevant again.
But yeah, for the most part, I'm still looking at the new decks. I haven't fully given up yet. But at the end, and I will say, as far as XCs goes, they are giving us a lot of amazing free-to-play farming decks and skills.
Yes.
That is so much better. This is like the best time to be a new player, in my opinion. And if you don't have a second account, go watch our video on how to make a new account, because you should have a second account right now. It's extremely easy to farm, and if your main account, if you lose access to your good cards or you get something banned or whatever, you can have that second account ready to go, buy whatever mini box that comes out, and immediately have a meta deck. So
Yeah, and the
there you go.
computer knows how to XZ summon really well. It doesn't do a lot of stupid things like it does with synchros or anything like
Yeah,
that. So, yeah, we have
there you go.
I guess we're gonna plug ourselves a little bit, but it's a deck that PDS came up with, and we just kind of dovetailed it into the new player video, and it works great. It's really cheap to get into, and you'll be farming into your next invoke deck that's coming out in the new mini box, guaranteed right here. Take that to the bank.
But yeah, I think that's all really that we have to say.
Yep.
I'm looking at Cristrons. I want to see how they interact with System Down, and I want to see if oh, actually, one surprising tech that did come out of Cristrons, Plasma. Plasma's been really
Okay.
good. The YGO, Daniel YGO, he's side decking Bring It into Plasma, so that was cool.
Oh,
to see.
nice, nice.
So we'll see if people start picking that up, or if that was just kind of a one of, because he actually won 2-1 against the player that was siding 3 System Down.
Oh, wow.
So
Well, this guy loves his Coral Dragon, which isn't something that we really saw before in Cristrons.
Well, -1 made
say.
it popular.
Yeah, so Coral Dragon looks like it's
But
pretty carrying this
Battle
match. Anyways.
Phase Friday is going to happen. That's going to be closer to the weekend, close after Meta Weekly and right before MCS. So we'll have more stone proof at that point.
Yep.
And then we'll talk about it on Sunday night probably, and just after the first week of tournaments is done, after Battle Phase, we'll talk about it, and we'll tell you guys what the meta is then.
We should know by then. We should
hopefully.
He should know. He should know.
He should know.
All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. I hope this helps you a little bit, but maybe it didn't, but it should have. All right. So make sure you get into our Discord, because that's where we host all our tournaments, and that's where you're going to get announcements about them. So make sure to get in there. But I'm Circus. That's Rye.
See you later.
Yeah.